trigger happy and I give less than a fuck. Love me or hate me, I'ma show enough, rip shit up. It's Mr. Nothing, nice on a mic stand. Mic in the left and the zest in my right hand. I took a puff, had enough now, hold up. If that was Indo, niggas getting rolled up.
What's going on, folks? This is Acid Roots. I'm going to review Avril Lavigne's 7th album, Love Sucks. This just came out this year back in February, and seeing as I'm starting to get a more storied history with Avril Lavigne, I thought I'd cover this. So a couple of her albums I'm particularly fond of would be Let Go from 2002 and then Under My Skin from 2004. There's more Avril Lavigne I need to listen to, but basically this is her second album since her departure because of personal health problems back between 2013 and 2019. So it's good to see that Avril Lavigne's still back in the swing and didn't just decide to go back on hiatus and that type stuff. And it's definitely good just because Head Above Water, I do remember at least one single from that project, but it was relatively quiet and left quickly. There wasn't, it felt like Avril, as quickly as she came back, kind of vanished in the same breath. But this album definitely has like a spunk and energy to it. That's one thing about this project, is it's different from the Avril Lavigne that I knew from Let Go, which basically means that the kind of dreary and kind of moody, I mean, she's not really as moody this time. I mean, she still has like the emo and kind of like the kind of emo and moody like pitch in like her lyrics, but it's just not quite as moody in like the soundscape. And that's kind of the thing. Most of the songs on this project have like a Blink-182 and Offspring kind of feel to them, and they just have like, and even I would add Good Charlotte and those type folks in there. They have like a particular kind of, it's just pretty much almost the whole way through the same kind of up tempo type flow. This album is good and it's definitely above average, but I did find myself missing kind of like a different pace of songs like she did like Complicated, and then another song like Losing Grip. I mean, I felt like Losing Grip was one of the most kind of like dark and just kind of grim type songs that had like such a nice pitch towards it, but there were no songs like that on this project. For the most part, to me, this is like the female version of MGK's Tickets to My Downfall, or like a Blink-182 album. And I'm talking like that's a complaint, but the problem with it is that the mood is pretty central, and that's kind of the thing. It's definitely emo, and it's definitely emo pop and pop punk, but there's not many deviations from like the kind of suggested theme that goes along with it. That's kind of like, I mean, considering that Avril Lavigne has made her music about kind of being in heartache and having like like kind of like a jaded and kind of disgruntled way of conveying music, that's pretty surprising. But the thing about this project that you'll notice, and it shouldn't take long to notice, is that Avril Lavigne still has her heartbreak lyrics. A lot of these songs like Fuck You or F You, Break of a Heartbreak, Boys Lie, Cannonball, Love Sucks, some of these really have like the same kind of heartbreak type thing, but she's peppy about it. And that's kind of the thing. These are not songs like Complicated where she's kind of like, damn, this really sucks. It's just kind of, she takes it directly on the chin and takes it in stride. That's kind of the concept of this project, is all these things that she's going through that are kind of pissing her off or getting on her nerves, she just takes in stride and has not much deviation from that general mood. I mean, really, I think this album was intending to get Avril Lavigne back to where she was in the 2000s, but the concept behind it kind of is that I do feel like versatility probably could have helped. I mean, I like the approach just because all these up-tempo songs I think were destined to kind of have like some airplay and just general, like, I don't want to say sellout, but just kind of an emo attempt at crossing over to commercial, and it's handled in a decent way. I would definitely prefer to hear Avril Lavigne on the radio compared to like some standard junk that may happen that's not quite as, has as much personality, but the versatility is just not here. And that's kind of the concept about it. Like, Avril Lavigne can songwrite. She can usually make it to like the third, fourth, or even fifth single, depending upon how it works. But it's just basically, It's just like a shot in the arm of Avril Lavigne. It gets you very briefly what you need, and then it's just out and about. It's just a quick in and out kind of atmosphere with Avril Lavigne, and it's too bad because really this album does not. I mean, it has like songs that could be promoted to radio, but with each of these kind of having the same central kind of tempo and pitch to them, it's like you wouldn't even be able to. They're pretty interchangeable, I guess I could say. So, but I'll go ahead and talk about the singles. So the first one is "Bite Me," and this felt a lot like a Blink 182 song or like some alternative metal. I really liked the production on here. Felt like this was handled real well. I definitely liked the hook on here. Avril did a great job. There should have been way more songs like this song. I felt like maybe it wasn't good to have like copycats of this song, but it definitely has, to me, "Bite Me" has the most bite on this whole album. This was a standout single from Avril Lavigne. I think it's up there with some of her better singles in a long time, and takes you back to 2002 or 2005 or something. It's definitely good. And yeah, so that's a nice one. And then the second single was "Love It When You Hate Me," which has a pretty like earworm chorus. I definitely would suppose you could hear that being bumped in nearby cars and like general just social topics among stuff. It just has one of those. It's a certain kind of song that's just kind of quotable. I feel like if only for the hook, but it's just kind of underneath that impression that this is another such version of a song that Avril Lavigne is basically back in her old ways, and has a nice overall drive to it. I just would have to say that's 2 for 2 for Avril Lavigne. That's kind of the thing. It's 2 for 2. I mean, both of these are easy radio songs, and they probably have gotten plenty of airplay and they're good moments. But the rest of this project could use like the same bite of these two singles to kind of get it up and running. It's not like this album is bad, but a lot of this feels like pretty interchangeable punk rock, and that's just the thing. I mean, all these songs like "Cannonball," break of a heartache, "All I Wanted" with Mark Hoppus from Blink 182, "Fu," "Deja Vu," uh, I want to say "Kiss Me Like the World Is Ending." They all have pretty much the same kind of vibe and instrumentation about them. There's not much deviation. I mean, like I was looking for another song like "Bite Me" because that reminded me of Avril Lavigne's old days, kind of in like the instrumentation, and it just doesn't. That's the thing. I mean, Avril has gotten the hooks down. I mean, any of these, if promoted properly, probably could work as like a serviceable single, but the distinction is kind of numbed a little bit, and that's kind of the thing about it. I do think that "Deja Vu" and "Love Sucks," the title track, definitely could come off as singles if she does want to pump out a third one. But really, I was kind of curious because I really I'm kind of unsure as to what sort of promotion this project could continue to get, because it would be nice to have some more Avril Lavigne on the radio in case she wants to take another 2.5 or 3.5 years off. At least we have 3 songs to kind of go by, because it feels like at the rate that we're going, most people are just going to play when you need your Avril Lavigne fix. You're just going to get "Love It When You Hate Me," and that's virtually it. And to kind of complain about "Love It When You Hate Me" a bit, I like Black Bear. He's kind of a companion to like folks like Mike Posner and Machine Gun Kelly in recent days, but I really felt like Avril Lavigne should have had a second verse on here. This kind of happens like, Avril Lavigne has 3 guests on here, which is uncommon for her because most of the time she does the whole album herself. But, "Boys Lie" is a pretty good song, but the problem with when Avril Lavigne does songs with features, she does not do 2 verses. I mean, she kind of like they kind of interchange, like she kind of does like an interchanged third verse with MGK on "Boys Lie," and it seems like that's kind of what happened with "All I Wanted." But I found myself wanting like the old song structure where maybe Black Bear would have been verse 2, Avril would have been verse 3, and then add a bridge and then close out the song or something. But these are kind of more duets, and I found myself wanting them to not so much be duets on there. But I mean, it's a sideline complaint because the songs are still good, but it's kind of something that you don't get enough Avril on songs where she would really be useful to have more of her kind of having like her personality and charisma on there. So that's kind of the thing. So it's interesting to say that about like a rock singer, because most of the times rock songs only have the one vocalist. But it's interesting that Avril almost kind of took like a rap approach, where now she's starting to swap out guest vocalists and things like that. But so yeah, like I said, a couple hits on there. I'll go ahead and list the songs out of 12 that I enjoyed. There were 7. There's definitely some good stuff to enjoy here, but I'll talk about that a little bit more. So 7 songs I recommend to you are Bite Me, Love It When You Hate Me, F You, Boys Lie, Deja Vu, Love Sucks, and Kiss Me Like the World's Ending. So, I mean, a lot of these have like, I feel like Love Sucks is kind of a romantic song. And there's another one that I'm trying to think of that is, I guess we could say that like, yeah, Love Sucks and then Boys Lie are both more romantic songs that are not quite intended just for like standard nights out. I mean, I mean, some of these are more romantic intended more so than just rock from a female angle. And I think that's kind of the thing about it, is just to kind of say, hey, you know, some of this is kind of like, some of these would be in a more flirty context. I mean, some of it's just like breakup and, you know, just her kind of saying with her problems, but some of these actually do have more, yeah, just more of in a romantic sense. But a couple attempts at like mid-tempo don't really work that well. Like Dare to Love Me was trying to be like almost like an R&B type song, and Avalanche was kind of like a mid-tempo kind of more back in Avril Lavigne's classic days, but it didn't quite work as well this time. I really felt like Avril Lavigne just felt distracted almost. It was kind of strange just because not only did she have like the central mood of just like up tempo, the kind of pissed off sarcasm that didn't really fit the way that she was describing herself in the lyrics, but then like her old strong points didn't really shine through either. So it kind of felt like a revamped and repolished Avril Lavigne in ways that kind of, she tried new things, but the stuff, if you liked her for her old stuff, is not really here much in spades or much of it all. So that's kind of the concept, is you're getting basically a new Avril Lavigne. I mean, I don't know her wholesomely enough to really be able to wholesomely say that, but it does feel like, at least from the Under My Skin and Let Go days, that there's not as much in like the general moody kind of emo way that she used to be. I mean, she still very much is like a goth queen, but it's just kind of like, you know, it's just a new side of her. I think that's kind of the thing that maybe folks, unless some of these previous albums did this, it's a new side of her that's kind of strange, just because she's a lot peppier this time. I did not imagine Avril Lavigne to have as much pep as what's being shown this time around. She kind of has like a jolt in her. It seems like she's ramped up on Red Bull or something like that. I'm not really sure, but that's kind of the concept. And but yeah, I mean, these songs are very pungent. I mean, that's the thing. They do have the energy, and like Boys Lie, Love Sucks, and Deja Vu are like some extra would-be singles, and I don't know if they actually will become them, but they're decent approaches if you like more of the stuff from Bite Me, or if you want more of the stuff from Bite Me or Love When You Hate Me. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, you know, some of that stuff. I think I described the complaints as far as what I said. It's just the up tempo moments are kind of like not as, the energy is not where it needs to be, and some of her old strengths need to come back. And I would also have to say that, yeah, so those are just a couple of things. Her old strengths need to come back, and the pep is kind of mismatched in terms of what happens. And maybe like, you know, some more singles, and yeah, I mean, that's the basic concept. So I'm going to give this album, me liking 7 out of 12. I'll give this album a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 7, a solid 7, because it's good. Not super outstanding, but definitely above average. I feel like this is a good avenue for Avril Lavigne, but I would kind of like to kind of get her back in like her general kind of goth queen, like this more moody kind of Evanescence type feel, that type stuff. Even like a dose of Paramore or something like that, I would like to see just in kind of that vibe, because I know Avril Lavigne could do it, but Avalanche just wasn't it, and neither was Dare to Love Me. I mean, that's kind of, it's like, where's the Avril that, you know, could make you kind of, you know, wrench your heart and just be like, you know, what's going on here, or this general kind of moodiness. It's just not very moody this time. I guess that's kind of the thing. I feel like the lyrics are more. It's just kind of the emo is intended as like energetic emo, and that's really surprising considering that that's kind of awkward of a placement for emo. I mean, it's not like I have a problem with it, but it's kind of a new context, I think, and I'm not sure how many albums I need to learn more, I would suppose, about it, but it seems like kind of a new avenue. But the social score, I'm going to give a 5 out of 10 just because there's a very brief two singles, and I would have liked more to see what could have happened next. So, like I said, Avril just doesn't vanish for another 3 or 4 years just like that. But at least Love It When You Hate Me is kind of being played around on radio and such. But even then, that's just really 1.5 verses from Avril. So, but the future, I would say Avril just dropped this album, so go support it and hope that she promotes it more. Check out the music videos and see a concert of her. And yeah, so yeah, good stuff.